Welcome back to another episode of
Bros and Cons. Let's go. Right here on the mic, we got J Lex, we got RG, Malik. Here we are, still with it. Today we got a what do we got in the?
We got a special guest coming in today.
Yeah, we got a special guest coming in actually.
This guy is actually American. He's come from America. We just thought we'll jump on quickly and answer questions.
Answer big questions.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a questionnaire up on Instagram and I'll save it to our highlights. That way, whoever has questions, they can submit it there. That way, we're not going to every single platform.
Every single
and
DMs,
going live all the time.
Because that's how we have been getting our questions, guys. If you are wondering, a lot of them get sent through the DMs, TikTok, Instagram. And we just answer it on here. So. There will be an easier way to do it. We're just going to upload it in the highlights. Yeah. In there, you can submit your questions in there, so it's far more easy, accessible.
Yeah, that's it, bro. That's the whack excited news. We also came here early because we want to catch up properly. I remember last time, old matey was stuck at the barber. He's being held hostage. So now,
hey man,
today we didn't get a haircut.
Bro, Arab barbers in Sydney, bro, they don't muck around, lad. They don't muck around, especially when they see Islanders come in, bro. You already know, lad. They're gonna do damage. 100%. They love it, but. And I think our guest today is a barber as well, isn't he?
Yeah, our guest today.
So yeah, he opened up his own barbershop in Tonga.
So we're going to touch up on the entrepreneurship, everything, because from what I have heard, he pretty much had like a humble upbringing. I think so. I don't know. We'll see when he gets here.
Yeah, that's it.
For now, we did get a couple questions in anyway.
There is a couple questions.
Yeah. I was just telling the doco, I watched this horror movie last night, 28 years later.
Ooh. How was that,
brother? This movie, bro.
I'm still yet to watch it.
In the opening scene of 28 years later, there's a room of children, like 5, 6, 7 years old, and they're watching Teletubbies. They get slaughtered in the first scene.
Damn.
Bro, I already knew straight away, if that's the opening scene, bro, my butt cheeks were clenched in the opening scene. I was like, wow, bro, that's it.
Well, if any of you remember what 28 Weeks Later was, it's very, very similar. They started off very powerful. You know, it's family orientation at the start. It's very dark, and you think everything alright is going on. Yeah. And then bang. Boom, smack, but everything's like flying in, the zombies.
Bro, it's crazy. I actually wrote 28 days later, 28 weeks later. The concept, the way they shot it, it's more realistic than all the other Hollywood ones like World War Z and that. Yeah, and I don't know, is it me or do us, or all of us Islanders, does everyone else like zombie movies? Because I feel like we always have these conversations. Oh, what would you do if there was a zombie apocalypse? What would you use around you?
Shout out. I hate horror movies now. The way they're making horror movies now, it's just all demonic stuff, man. And I wouldn't recommend horror movies now.
100%.
It's a lot different. To back in my days, we had Jason, Mark Myers, we had Freddy Krueger. Those are like jump scare horror movies with cracker.
Yeah.
I reckon the way that they're going now with horror movies before that demonic stuff, it's just...
So it's weird.
It's a bit Elo,
Yeah.
Like it puts you in a weird space. I remember watching. You remember that nun one?
Yeah.
I was like, I felt like a bit uncomfortable watching it. I looked to the side and look at my missus. My missus just like eating popcorn like this.
Something's wrong right there, lad. Something's wrong. Hey, you're too.
You know what I did watch?
This too much.
What I did watch that's actually cracker thriller was the new Squid Games. Have you seen it?
I just finished it before I came out.
Way.
That's why I'm late, lad. Because I just finished it.
Well, there you go.
I was gonna leave. I was gonna leave, and then there's a last part when the guy's holding the baby, and did you watch that part?
Yeah.
He's holding the baby, but one of them have to die, and I'm trying to walk out of the room, but something keeps happening. I'm thinking, fuck. Let me see what's gonna happen. Looking for movies is huge, lad.
Yeah.
I know low-key done the Neverland movie and had a lot of the artists jump in. That was mad, lad.
Yeah, that was mad.
Yeah.
But then again, he's probably the only one that's really touched on that. I think the market is massive for... there's a lot of room, you know, because I feel like the West Sydney story still hasn't really been told and touched on like proper, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
There's still a lot of room to grow, room to improve and things like that. But, lad, that's cracker, lad.
A lot of the big actors in Hollywood are also Australian too, eh? That's mad.
But apparently Russell Crowe has a mansion in the at the beach, lad. Bro, I had one of the boys had a job nearby in the installing an aircon up there, and then one of the Palangi boys is like, hey, that's Russell Crowe's mansion.
But I think one day we should touch base on them. Like, all of you guys got to know what's happening in the media.
Yeah, lad.
It's not very important, but I think it's important if you're someone that's going to the media regularly to entertain yourself. I think it's very important to know the Aussies that are doing it big. You know.
Yeah.
You guys could get inspired from them as well.
Who do you reckon? Who do you reckon's the GOAT Aussie actor, lad?
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman, number one. Who do you reckon?
There's not. Is there any? There's other female ones. Nicole Kidman and the one that plays Barbie or Harley Quinn. What's her name? Blondie. She's in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I think it's Megan or something.
No, it's Robbo, isn't it? Robbo?
Robbie
Margaret.
Robbie Margaret.
Yeah, Robbie Margaret.
Yeah, that's it.
Her and also Chris Hemsworth, man. He's another one.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Is Liam Hemsworth as well?
Chris Hemsworth, yeah, he's Australian.
Yeah,
he's a big time actor, man. That guy. Thor and all.
Yeah, lad. Bro, I've always wanted to be in those Hollywood movies. Could be something like later down the track.
Could be something, It's sky's the limit, guys. Man, just remember, you could become an actor one day. You could become a rapper, whatever it is that you want to pursue, man.
Yeah.
The best thing about Australia right now is that a lot of our whole country is still new to the game with everything. So, once you crack the code, like I full backed out, bro. What the fuck?
I watch your eyes slowly go blank.
My eyes are just going
hey, man.
crazy.
There is this one Tongan guy. I think his name is Latu or something. Yeah. But he was
played Tongan Sam.
Yeah, he played Tongan Sam. Hey, shout out to you, bro.
Shout out to the doco, bro.
He sent us a DM for pros and cons, man, and we were watching this guy, man.
Blessed, bro. Blessed.
What a blessing, man.
What a blessing, bro. And that's what I mean. Like Tongan Sam's story, like. There's so much so much things that have happened in Australia, in Sydney and in the city. Like the underbelly touched up on a lot of the things that happen in the underworld. But bro, it's a scratch on the surface of like so many unlimited stories that it baffles you, bro. Like we talk about it with the stories that we've heard when we used to drink up with the boys and we used to hear from each other. Man, insane! You would never believe it, bro. Yeah. Some of these stories you think, bro, that's a movie, lad.
Everyone living here is like it's like you're going for a movie in Sydney. Growing up, I know a lot of people have been saying that the crime rate in Sydney has been growing bigger, but a lot of people don't know that this is how it's always been.
It's just always been.
It's just starting to become more vocal. People are starting to shine more light on it. But it's always been like this, bro.
It's always been the case.
But a lot of this stuff is the environment we grew up around, when it comes to shootings and underworld and everything, a lot of this stuff was exposed to us as youngins. So, living in Sydney, like you had two roads that you were going on. If you were an islander, you were either playing footy or you're going down to jail. That was basically the choices that you had.
100%.
We've got a queue. Question: what's your views on the New Zealand culture and their relationship with the Pacific nation? Bro, shout out to New Zealand, man.
Shout out to New Zealand.
I actually always thought that New Zealand...
Kia ora.
I actually thought that they were always actually part of us, like Pacific nation. Like I thought we were all always together. I think it's because of the heritage we share, the lookalikes in our people, the values that are common, like the way we eat together, most of the foods, and even the language. It's such a beautiful warrior culture that a lot of us Polynesians we can relate to. But nothing beats the haka. Man.
Oh, I thought you were about to say meat pies.
Oh, no, brother.
Bro, these guys, I'll never hear the end of it,
I'll be honest. Oh, I haven't even tried the New Zealand meat pies, so of course I'm gonna be biased.
Yeah.
Bro, you guys are lacking on the Aussie pies. You're probably just getting pies from 7-Eleven. The pies here actually crack out at the bakery. Like
the pies in 7-Eleven is already good enough.
They're already good enough. If you go to a Vietnamese bakery, you're finished.
You're finished, bro.
You'll be finished,
Don't
bro.
even get me started on the pork rolls, man.
The pork rolls.
It's hard to stay away from there for years.
And you know what? We'll touch on this because So the haka has always been, I don't know if the sipi tau and the siva tau has always been there, like the Tongan and Samoan thing, but I know that the haka was the first war dance that was introduced to sports, and that's why it holds such a special memorial thing, you know, for even the Islanders as
even
well.
Sports worldwide.
Because John Alomu, you know, probably the most famous Tongan that we, you know,
that we always
they
bring
got
up.
The rock, we got John Alomu. We're all good with that. Big All-Star, the All-Stars, the black, what are they called?
The All Blacks.
The All Blacks. The All Blacks when they performed it. And some of you don't know, but we were actually that much fans of the haka that we actually done a re-edition.
I'm gonna post it up on YouTube. The actual haka that we done, but I'm only gonna post it on members only. So make sure
we're gonna post it on members only.
So you gotta pay for that because that is ridiculous.
That's a fucking funny one, man.
It's a remix.
But
I don't even know.
Someone's gonna screen record
It's
it.
a customized one, bro. It's a customized one.
Oh man, my face is getting hot.
Oh my gosh.
But look, man, we're gonna share all of our moments with you guys. You know, we want to make it as authentic as possible. So we want to share the good times, the bad times, the embarrassing times.
The embarrassing times, yeah.
And man, we done a remix haka with the Samoan, Tongan, and but most of it.
And you had Fijian in there as well.
We had Fijian, fucking Nicks, bro.
Fucking Nicks. Daivavo. Yeah.
I was gonna introduce you guys to it. Our little brother.
Yeah, our little brother
so
soon,
he's
man.
actually supposed to come and jump on. He's a bit shy, but we have to bring him on because he comes with us everywhere. We're pretty much the four musketeers. Hopefully next episode we can get him on. I want you guys to meet all our brothers. You guys will be shook off. Anyways.
Back to the haka, yeah.
I think New Zealand also probably have some of the best singers. I've seen a lot of really nice singing things. We can add some to the
New
links.
Zealanders and Filipinos unmatched.
Wow, there's actually a very nice Maori song that RG is gonna show you now.
No, I actually don't know this one. This guy's full of it, man. I don't know this one, bro.
Don't worry, we'll drop the link. This guy saying, "Hey, Papa, bro, you know that one, lad. Cracker."
Hey, man.
Cracker,
if you want to see anything exclusive, just subscribe.
Subscribe to it.
Subscribe to it, bro.
And we're gonna have memberships. I think even for memberships, because I didn't really want to get that much jail yarns into our podcast.
Yeah.
So I think we'll tell our whole backstory, my whole story. Ron Gotti's whole story and Jay Lick's whole story in jail, our experiences. I know a lot of you guys were asking about start to finish. Or probably like just share my personal experience on memberships, and so subscribe,
100%.
Go hit that like button. And
what advice could you give to someone who is not close with their brothers?
This is a very important question because we were pushing that. Stick with your brothers. We did say a lot about that, but there was people that reached out that said that they're not close with their brothers. So what advice could we give them? For me, what advice I could give you guys, to be honest, like when you guys see me and my brothers bond, it's not always perfect, you know. We do have our ups and downs. Like we're not like just 100% tight all the way, you know. There's always gonna be downs. But my advice that I would give to you guys, that I do personally for myself, I treat my brothers like an ongoing business, to be honest, and that's how I treat most of my relationships. So the way I treat my brothers, it's an ongoing business where if I lack and I stop putting effort into it, just like any business, it will slowly shut down. And that's just how everything is. And so the way I treat my brothers is I have to put in effort. Like I know some of you guys are not close with your brothers. The best thing you can do is make slow efforts to make things work, because a business is not going to grow on itself. You have to put in time, you have to put in effort. So I would highly recommend taking it slow. You know, message your brother once a day, ask him for help, ask him if he needs help. You know, there's a lot of people that are not willing to make that start and like take the initiative. But the power is in your hands to make that happen. You know?
It eventually takes the bigger man to step up and say something.
And it's good for your lifestyle. You can use it in everything. I treat my relationship the same. It's like a business. I got to keep putting in effort. I can't just relax one day and say my missus is gonna love me forever, because it doesn't work like that. You have to, for the rest of your life, you have to be putting in effort. So if you're not close with your brothers right now, maybe take your time out. Maybe one day during the week. week, say, hey, bro, how's everything going? Do you need help? Let's catch up and have dinner. Simple stuff like that can grow the relationship big time, you know. And you can slowly work on bigger things as time goes by. That would be
you know, one thing that always helped me. Like I always shoot back all the way to the past. You know, when I was growing up with my brothers, I always remind myself that, you know, we all grew up under the same roof. Almost used every single, you know, same bowls, little things like that. You know, you just remind yourself. It helps you, you know, it helps you ground yourself, and then you actually tell yourself, you know what, you're actually closer to your brother than you think. You're not as far as you think.
100%.
You know, you grew up together. You guys slept together and like used the same toilet. You just have to. It's just little things like that. Sometimes people forget, you know, the little things.
100%.
I reckon if you have brothers and you can unlock that bond between you, it's probably the most unbreakable bond you will find. And I know this for a fact because of my relationship I have with my brothers. And you know what? It's different because a lot of relationships you're looking for what can you gain out of this. So when you go on a date and you're on a date with a new girl, you're looking for values that what can I get out of this girl? You know, what can she do for me? But with a brotherhood love, it's the opposite. It's a selfless love. What can I do for my brother? What can I do to give my brother, you know, an opportunity to put him higher than me? It's a selfless love. That's what a brotherhood love is. It's very different to every other type of love. And if you're able to unlock that unconditional love, you'll be able to break barriers beyond your imagination because just from that love of your brother. So if something had happened to your brother, you'd take it beyond the earth words, just because of your love for him. You'll carry it, and it's not necessarily a love that's verbal all the time. It's not necessarily a love that you just you say it to your brother's face. It's a love that you show it by your actions. So your brother could go and do like 5-10 years over something that was to protect you or something like that, but he does it and comes out with a smile, maybe a simple handshake, and then guess what, you're in the car park eating a Big Mac together like nothing happened. That's the kind of brotherhood love I'm talking about. It's very simple, it's very selfless, but it's unconditional.
Amen, bro. Yeah. Well said. I think that pretty much covers it up, man. I hope
question,
I hope you guys can rekindle your relationships.
100.
And if you are in that situation where you're just far distance from, there's no reconnecting with your brother, you can always turn to friends. There's always that one friend, one or two friends that will be like a brother to you. And like I said, it comes back down to putting in effort. You have to get out of your way to put in effort. And like the right people will put the effort back.
100. And I guess you can use that same formula to find those friends that are like brothers. You'll find them. It's easy to find if you pay attention to detail which one of your friends are looking to give you value. So some friends are looking to see what you can do for them, and only a very few handful of them are looking to see how they can help you excel the business that you're about to start. Or you just open something and they're like, oh, that's mad, dog, I'll rock your merch, or you just open up a coffee shop, let me know when I can come by and buy some stuff. That's what you call a true brother. And outside of my brothers, I've got 5 brothers. There's 6 of us. I've only got a handful of friends, and I can count it on one hand. That's how much people I actually talk to. I don't actually really have a lot of people that I actually, I have people that I talk to, but people that I really, hang with, I can count it on one hand outside of my brothers.
That's right. And maybe look at your circle. How many friends are actually putting in effort and getting nothing in return? Those are the people that you want to stick around. It could be one person, but one person is all you need. You don't need a certain amount of numbers, I swear. From the start, like growing up, we started with a lot of boys, probably 100 plus boys and mates and everything. And we slowly went down to just a handful.
Just the brothers,
just a handful. And it's nothing against the other people, like Ronnie said. It's just, you got those certain people that will actually do whatever for you, And that's the people you want to keep around you.
Yeah. Wow, bro. What a topic, bro. What a topic, that question.
Topic, man.
What a topic.
Hopefully you guys, all the best, but with your guys' relationships, treat it like a business. Even this can apply to all relationships as well. Put in effort, don't expect nothing back. Loyalty over love.
Yeah. Wow. And I guess even because love can fail sometimes,
That's right.
Love can lie sometimes. The Bible talks a lot about God is love, and I feel like humans have perverted love to be something that it's not,
Amen.
People talk about love like in the most stupid ways, like for little stupid things,
Amen.
over nothing. So yeah,
That's why, the Bible as well, it says that true love is gone because it's hard for us to, lad. Have true love. So when you actually look for true love, look to God, and the rest, I feel like you should base all your relationships off loyalty. That's the thing.
100.
Yeah,
100.
I think a lot of people have that misconception where they think love, where they think that they define love should be like they feel happy. I feel like that's something wrong.
Yeah,
Very wrong.
that's wrong,
Yeah,
eh?
exactly.
You're not meant to feel happy like when it comes to love. I feel like love is way more than that.
That's how relationships break. Yeah,
Love
like
is full of tears. It's full of heartbreak. That's
full of
that's
heartbreaks.
love, bro.
hard times.
With love comes war as well,
Ronnie's
It's
on
not
smoke,
always,
lad.
it's not always happy, Sometimes you got to do the things that you don't love.
I think he's sending a message.
Yeah, that's it, bro. Love is just
know
always
what's
When it comes to loyalty and love, Ronnie's always on
He's
smoke.
on smoke, bro. Someone actually asked me this question the other day, and said, do you regret ever being a part of the streets? And I just thought of something as we're talking about loyalty. And the reason why I say no is because there's certain things that you learn in jail and the streets that you cannot find in a normal life. And the honor and loyalty that you learn in the streets, you will not find it in a normal day-to-day life. You go on I bet you if you have like a white collar job for, the rest of your life and you live on Wall Street, I bet you, bro, your morals will be all over the place. Your ethics will be all over the place
100%.
because it's a dog eat dog world out there, and that's how they function. But when you're raised in the street and it's, you're sharing crumbs with people, you actually learn what true honor is and true loyalty.
Yeah.
So there's things that you learn in the streets that of course there's good and bad. But some virtues that I've learned myself being around the streets, it's helped me to be able to conduct my life in a good way, even in business ways as well. A lot of the ways that I conduct business, I learned how numbers work because of, dealing in this, not dealing, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know how to you learn a lot of fundamental things.
Yeah.
I'd even arguably say you learn a bit more than school. The streets teach you a lot of values that
Just the
school doesn't even
experiences,
teach you.
yeah.
Well, you get bullied in school and the teacher just looks the other way, and bro, in the streets you learn honor. If you get hit, bro, you gotta.
It's very deep, and it's one of my dreams. I've had to showcase these people because I wanted to give a platform for these people that go through this
Pros and cons.
A lot of us have been through hell and back, and it's really shaped us to better people. And who would have known that we'll be here trying to help the youth, looking back at the past. And yeah, I can say the same for a lot of people. There's actually a lot of boys that I've met and I've known that they've done craziest things. The boys that I grew up with would eventually grow up to commit the heinous of crimes, the worst crimes in Sydney. But these guys have just been in the wrong environment, but they have good hearts. They can definitely be good people depending on the people that they're around.
Lad. And I remember you telling me about this as well. Most of the people that you met inside, they were just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. But these were stand-up guys, just like us. They were almost like us. But he was saying that you listen to the charges. He was talking about old mate the other day that got into a fight, and then there you go, the bloke.
Yeah, and then
lost.
You see one mistake.
One mistake,
and I've learned that with a lot of boys that I've met personally in jail. One mistake cost them everything, and it's a very sad story, man. And I just have hope for these guys. The most important thing is God at the end of the day, but I have hope for these guys to eventually see freedom. One of my closest mates, Yonki Tan, got done for a very, very ugly crime. and he's never getting out. He's never getting out. He's never gonna
really?
see. Yeah, he's never gonna see freedom again. He's got kids and everything. He's already been in there for like about 15 years. Yeah, he's still got another 30 years, probably 30 years to live, and yeah, very sad. But
Free young
you know
kids,
that
man.
a lot of us, and you know what? When you look at these criminals that done bad things, a lot of us it's not that rare to see it happen. Like a lot of us could fall for the same exact crime and make the same mistake. We just lack an opportunity.
Yeah, lad.
Like how we spoke about the islander that you know, where he had a fight and the guy would pass away. Like how many of us out there have been in that situation where we've hit someone or we're having a fight and then you know someone could have caused death.
Like this.
And this is why I have love for these guys, because they're just like us. They just had that mistake, you know, and that they can't come back from. See, a lot of us are lucky. I'm blessed that I've had numerous fights where no one would end up dead, but I've had very dangerous fights, and some of you guys have been driving where you nearly killed someone.
Yeah, lad.
And a lot of us have times where we blow up, we get so aggressive and we want to kill someone, you know, and like, you know, we go through a lot of the normal person actually does that nearly every second day. In the everyday life that we live in, you come across someone that you don't like, and in the Bible it says once you've thought of the crime, you've actually already committed it. So that's the same way I treat it. Like I treat it as everyone's just exact same, you know. People that think of doing something very bad, but they don't end up doing it. Doesn't make them any different from my brother that's actually committed the crime, you know. And
yeah, I believe that as well.
Yeah.
If you just even think about doing it, then you've intentionally already committed that thing, even if you just thought about it.
Yeah, because it eventually changes the person you are. And what happens in here eventually comes out to play. That's the person you become. And I feel like in the Bible, that's why it's very important to have faith. People say you can't. Why do Christians think that you can just be saved by having faith? But the reason why it's important to have faith, because what happens in here and here eventually comes out to play. It's the way you act. It all starts in the mind. You don't just start acting like you don't just start sinning. It happens in the head first, and then you commit the crime. You know what I mean?
That's why mental health is so important, lad. You got to be in a good mental space, and that's why drugs. That's because drugs it hinders the only thing that drives you, your brain. As soon as the drugs get into your brain, the drugs start talking for you. They start doing things for you. And some of the stories I've heard from even the boys in juvie, that I think they're in big boys now because of their charges. When I was in juvie, they were telling me their charges and that they were going to head off to big boys in the later years, and they probably are still there. And most of their stories was just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I heard one of their stories was, oh man, he was at a party and there was a brawl after, like every single party in the 2015s and, you know, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, you know, when we used to have those parties at halls and like house parties and that, no one was really on social media that much those days. He was just at one of those parties. There was a brawl after. Old mate
always scraps.
made an accident and someone would go on to it end in a tragic fate at the end. And now old mate he's lost his whole family, like his childhood. I remember my mum came to visit me, and his mum came to visit him the same day, and my mum told me the next day that she was crying with his mum outside. They were crying together, Tongan as well. And yeah, man, it's just sad because I think it made me think, like, how many parties have I been to? How many? I've almost had a fight after every single party I've been to.
Could have happened to anyone, yeah.
And you know what? It makes you feel, like, now looking back at it now, I like to think that it's a higher power that we've survived.
It's definitely a higher power.
We've survived too many times through too many things to wind up here. So I feel like there's truly purpose behind what we're doing, and I'm happy that we're finally driving our purpose, because, bro, there's no such thing as luck. If you know the depth of all of our stories, which we are going to share the actual depth of everything after, later on, like, so his case is dismissed, mine is pending to be dismissed. We're going to bring light to everything after, the back ends of how everything works in the streets and things like that. And yeah, it's It's real ugly, lad, when you get to like behind, like we have a lot of ugly things that have happened in our stories. Even individually, we all have a big story as well. But we feel like if we share it to you, a lot of the youngins, and they can understand it, they can see that they can make different decisions and pivot from where we didn't.
Yeah, 100%. And it's all to inspire youngins who are going through the same thing. Like I did mention on a TikTok video replying to a comment. I did mention I went through a few stab wounds, and there's a lot of worse things that's happened in my life that I'm not ready to share it right now. I will share it eventually, but yeah, there's a lot of things in my life that just very bad. And then I used to look back because we've made it to how far we are now, and I look back thinking like everything makes sense now. Like there's a lot of places where God saves you. And he stops you before you make that mistake.
Yeah.
And and it's all for a purpose. And yeah, when I look back now, there could have been a lot of times where we all could have died, where I could have died, where we all could have had an accident or killed someone by accident. And like I used to say, like, what a coincidence, or how much lucky I got.
We used to drink and cheers after and think that it was us, you know. We used to think that, bro, how good am I, you can never get me, that's just what I do. But you look at it now and you just think, man,
that's God.
I was playing with God's grace.
Yeah, that's God.
100%.
Like, and he tries to save you
numerous times until it's time.
If you've been through a situation like that where you're so close to going through a dark hole or so close to dying, that's God pulling you out because he's got a purpose for you. And I truly believe if there was no purpose of me being in here, I would have been gone.
Too many times.
At the first day. But yeah, that's another story, bro. We gotta make a whole podcast session for that stuff.
Shout out to all the mothers and fathers still praying for your kids, even though they're out in the streets doing wrong and in jail. Never fail your kids, man. Like I know that our stories, we were saved numerous times through grace, and a lot of it was because of those sleepless nights that my mum and dad stayed up praying for us, and they never gave up hope on us.
Amen.
So yeah.
Everyone has a purpose.
Man, that's 2 big subjects already. Holy.
Yeah, but we can go.
Give us a break, bro. Let us breathe. Why you just want to come so fast for? Why are you coming fast?
Water, man.
Why are you coming fast?
Why are you coming fast? Here's a good one. What is the most money you've made in a week? It's turning into an interrogation, brother. What?
I think the most I ever made was around 6,000 in 1 week. 6,000 or 7,000, yeah.
Bro, that's still gun, lad. After tax?
After tax.
Whee!
Yeah.
But
what about you, Daddy?
I don't want to talk too much about that.
For me, I feel like I don't really want to add. Like now, as of now, I like to keep my net worth and things discreet, only because I feel like it's something very it's very important to me. I've got certain goals that I haven't even shared with my close family. And I feel like it's just stupid if I share it to everyone. I want to reach these certain goals before I can announce it. But I'm doing well right now. But what I will tell you is that in iron formwork, I did mention I made ridiculous money. And one of the biggest weeks, I turned over close to 50K. It was close to 50K.
That's crack up.
And mind you, I was 18 at that time. And you don't see that type of money. And
I think because we're so young, we're like... And even now, like, even now, 50,000 goes out the window the next day. If you're not careful, 50,000. Like for me, when
now 50,000 is nothing, nothing now, bro. I know a lot of boys that can just blow that in like one night in the cast, like not even in a full night, probably a couple hours.
This is actually one of the main reasons why I wanted to get a job when I got out of jail, because I realized how fast money goes, and it's not really about how much you make in a week. It's more about how much are you making every week.
Yeah.
How much are you making a year? Like how much are you making in 5 years? And that I feel like that's more important. It kept me grounded. I really wanted to get a job because it kept me grounded, and you're not spending. For me personally, I was a bad spender. So having a job like taught me to relax, take a step back. You can't just blow your money like that, and it's really made me appreciate having a normal job. And I think for any of you guys who maybe are looking to try and make big money. Maybe accept what you're getting what you're getting that is small. Maybe work on that, and you can slowly.
I think it's important just to I think like there's different levels of richness. Some people are rich and they don't really have that much money. And I feel like it's important to really spend in your means. So you know, you can be rich with a low income, or you can be rich with you can be poor with a high income. You know. What I mean?
Wow, giving you the ropes. That's true. Like,
it's important to spend in your means, man. I've met a lot of poor guys that seem like they got everything. You know.
You know what? To add on to what he just said, I'm in a position now, right, where I've got so many things going that I can't even really put my finger down to actually look at a steady number, because for a lot of people that are running businesses, you guys, people that do run businesses will tell you you understand that you need money aside for stock, itinerary, the workers, the insurances, the tax. You can't really put a number on something, and then that's just if you have one business. Now imagine if you have multiple. Brother, I can't sit here and give you guys a number. It'd be a lie, because I don't know. I'd have to ask an accountant. But you want to be able to get to a stage where you don't have a target goal of a specific number. You just want to, I think it's a mindset, like you said, like having that rich mindset where you're just always wanting to push and you're wanting to grow more. And I feel like when I used to slap in the pokies, you know how you used to make a target goal? All right, when I reach 5K, then that's it. Well, brother, when you reach 5K, oh man, so it worked. All right, when I reach 10K, you start making new goals as you're slapping it until you reach $0, bro.
I think the most I made in my scaffold business was about 7,000, and that was paying after I paid everyone.
After you pay everyone.
And to be honest, that was worth it to me. That was hell. That was 7,000 going through hell. And a lot of times I always, it taught me to just appreciate what you're making, you know.
Lad.
And a lot, when I did get into business, I was getting jealous of my boys, because I used to pay my boys top money, and I was getting jealous that these guys were able to get paid and go home and sleep. I had to keep working after hours, you know. And
most people don't know that, lad. That sometimes the boss doesn't get paid the most. He gets paid last, and most of the time he gets paid the less.
And most of the time, sometimes he's in minus, or sometimes the job's gone wrong. And he has to go back and fix it up, and now he loses money. So you guys get to see a lot of the guests that do come on, and they do run businesses, and maybe they can shed a bit more light on some of the tough stuff that they go through.
My advice as well is don't rush the process, bro. Don't rush it, lad. Really be in the moment of chasing your dreams, fulfilling your dreams, and enjoy the journey with whoever you're doing it with. If you're doing it with your wife or your missus or your friends, have a team behind you. Enjoy the process. I remember for me, I've always been an entrepreneur since young. I've always been a big hustler, and I've always had that individual mindset, you know, where bro, I'm on a, you know, my mindset's over here, you know, so I'm always chasing. But then I got to a stage where the brother would tell you, he was running his scaffolding company. Most of the times, I didn't even need to be there, but I just went there to be with my brothers.
Yeah, you just.
I just went there because you guys don't know that. Like Ronnie said, being rich and having a poor mindset is different, because me, even having the financial freedom to sit at home, it wasn't fulfilling for me. But what is fulfilling for me is being with my brothers. So I would go and put on a tool belt and work with these guys on the scaffold. So for free, my brother would try to pay me. I'd be like, nah, I don't want anything. I would literally just go to to crack on with the boys.
I'm grateful I had brothers with me, because I was in a worse position. It was hard for me to get my license when I got out of jail. I hit a pursuit in the city, and so I lost my license for a couple of years. So when I started my business, I had no license, so I was catching Ubers everywhere. I was catching Ubers from site to site, and I was going for at least 1,000 a week.
Bro, this guy's number one donator to Uber, bro.
Yeah,
man.
I have Uber drivers that, when I sit in the car, they're like, hey, you remember me? But I've given heaps to Uber, but that's what you call flipping a bad situation into something good. If you're struggling, you could use that struggle as motivation to become bigger. Yeah. And if it wasn't for my license, I would have left the business ages ago, got a normal job. But I had no license, so I needed to be making more money, so I was using that as motivation. So I was spending a lot on Uber, but I was making a lot as well. I think this one's an important question. I think we should go for it before our special guest comes. She bring up something important. She said, sorry, I gotta say that question again. What guidance would you give a young woman whose partner is involved in the streets? Do you think it could turn into a healthy marriage if they stay together and he's on this path?
Were you together before he was in the streets? Or like, is this a thing where you just met him in the streets? If you've met him and he's already in that phase, it's gonna be tough.
It's a tough one.
It's gonna be tough, lad. It's gonna be tough, but
well, there must be something if she does love him, because she will obviously love him not because he's in the streets. It's probably because of something else. Maybe because of his personality.
Yeah.
It could be a different reason, and maybe him being a part of the streets, it just came with it. So yeah, that is a bit of a good question.
I think one of the obvious answer would be give it to God. You know, pray about it, give it to God. Let God do what He does best. You know, and just continue to help. If you still truly love this man and you don't want to leave him. But a more practical advice I would give from my experience would be try finding some friends that can replace that void, you know, because a lot of the time, a lot of us guys, we hang around the boys because we feel alone, and that's the truth. The truth is that a lot of us, a lot of us men, in our mental health, it's not strong when we're on our own, because we've been given this role to look after everyone, and everyone can throw their load on us and depend on us, and no matter what, we have to take the fall for everything. We take the risk. We 100%. Have to worry about getting a house. We have to worry about getting a car, paying the bills. And a lot of these things, a lot of the time, it takes a big toll on you, you know? So a lot of the times, most of the times when you want to, you want to just, you're just venting. You're venting out when you're going to see the other boys, because you want to share your feelings with the other boys. So my practical advice to you would be try finding some friends, you know, that are have that $1 million mindset, that are always trying to improve themselves, and just some people that are very helpful for him, you know, because his surroundings will be everything. Most of the reason why he's with those boys now is because he doesn't have anyone else, you know.
That's the harsh truth, man. And I feel like if he truly loves you, he will eventually subside and look at himself, and he knows that he needs to change in order for the relationship to keep occurring and keep working.
It's definitely a two-way street.
It's a two-way street, man, and she can't be held accountable for everything.
You can't be held accountable for everything. You can't just keep sitting there and let him pour everything out on you. There's only so much you can take before you need to start looking after your mental health as well. Because a lot of this stuff is a lot to take in. A lot of the things happening on the streets now, girls don't, you know, they don't want to be around that stuff. There's a lot of ugly things happening on the streets. You don't want to be a missus with a partner that's spending 10 years.
Exactly.
But then it just goes again, how deep is your relationship? Because it's a very generic, like taking the question at face value, it's hard to really decipher what's happening behind, you know. But God bless you guys. We'll keep using our prayers. Hopefully you guys can make it out of the struggle or trouble or anything that you guys are going through. Anyways, that's the question segment done. We're going to invite the Doko, who has just made it. He's just made it onto set.
We'll
catch